1960s, the world was divided in two. On one side, the United States. On the other, the growing shadow of communism. The Cold War was not just politics, it was fear. Fear that if one country fell, others would follow. And in Southeast Asia, a small country called Vietnam was about to become America's next battlefield. After World War II, the United States adopted a strategy known as the domino theory. The belief was simple. If one nation turned communist, neighboring nations would fall like dominoes. In 1954, after France was defeated in Vietnam, the country was split in two. The North, led by communist leader Ho Chi Minh. The South, backed by the United States. Washington believed stopping communism in Vietnam was not optional, it was necessary. What began as financial aid and military advisors soon became something much larger. Under President John F. Kennedy, the number of American military advisors in Vietnam grew rapidly, from a few hundred to over 16,000. Officially, America was not at war, but American boots were already on Vietnamese soil. And the situation was deteriorating. Guerrilla fighters known as the Viet Cong were blending into villages, striking suddenly, and disappearing into the jungle. This was not a conventional war. This was something America had never faced before. Then came August 1964. In the Gulf of Tonkin, U.S. naval ships reported being attacked by North Vietnamese forces. The incident shocked the nation. President Lyndon B. Johnson addressed the American people. He declared that the United States would respond. Congress quickly passed the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. It gave the president the authority to use military force without a formal declaration of war. But years later, doubts emerged. Was the second attack real? Or had America been pulled deeper into war based on incomplete or inaccurate information? By the end of 1965, more than 180,000 American troops were in Vietnam, and the number kept rising. Back home, young American men began receiving draft notices. Many were just 18 or 19 years old. Some had never left their hometowns. Now they were being sent into dense jungles, fighting an invisible enemy. Television brought the war into American living rooms. For the first time in history, war was not distant. It was broadcast nightly. Body counts became statistics, but behind every number was a life. American soldiers trained for conventional warfare now faced traps, booby traps, and hidden tunnels. The jungle was their greatest enemy. Snakes, leeches, heat, and disease took as many lives as bullets. Every patrol was tense. Every step could be fatal. The dense foliage hid an enemy that blended seamlessly with the land. Fear became constant. Anxiety became normal. Back in the United States, the war was dividing families and communities. Young men received draft notices. Some fled to Canada. Some protested peacefully. Others resisted in secret. The draft lottery system felt arbitrary and unfair. The young, many of them teenagers, were forced to leave their homes and face jungles they could barely imagine. The war that raged thousands of miles away was reshaping American society. In Vietnam, life on patrol was monotonous and terrifying. Soldiers marched for hours through mud and brush, carrying heavy packs and rifles. Rations were meager, sleep was scarce, and ambushes could come at any moment. The Viet Cong used guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run attacks, booby traps, and tunnels that seemed to appear from nowhere. It was a war without front lines. Every village, every trail, every hill could be a trap. The letters home told a different story. They spoke of exhaustion, fear, and loss. Some wrote about the friends they had lost. Others tried to hide their trauma, smiling in photos that didn't reveal the horrors behind their eyes. Television broadcasts showed body counts and strategic victories, but they could never capture the human suffering. And at home, the protests grew louder. Americans questioned the purpose of this jungle war. A war that tested young soldiers, a war that divided families back home, a war that was growing larger with every passing year. But this was only the beginning. The battlefield was about to collide with the streets of America. Protests would erupt, trust in the government would shatter, and the world would witness a moment that would define a generation. In Part 2, the final chapter, we will see how the Vietnam War didn't just unfold overseas. It changed America forever.